Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the National Hockey Now Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now, Sunday, April 23rd. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, ready to break down the Sunday NHL card. What a day we've got. It's basically a quadruple header, one game after another, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern time here on this Sunday. So definitely excited about that and looking forward to another great day of hockey. And speaking of great days of hockey, what about yesterday? If you don't believe in draw season after yesterday, I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, it basically smacked you right in the face yesterday with three games that went beyond regulation out of the 4 games on Saturday. Vegas and Winnipeg was just a thriller pretty much throughout, especially in the third period when Winnipeg mounted their comeback. I think when Vegas took that 4-1 lead, there was a small lull in the game, but it came out hot with the fight between Dillon and Kolesar. First period was action-packed. Second period, maybe a small lull, but in the third period and overtime, just scintillating action, pulsating back and forth. It looked like Winnipeg was going to win it multiple times after the incredible comeback. Adam Lowry, the big goal to tie it. He's just such an incredibly clutch playoff performer. But Vegas survives, and they get the win in overtime, even though they coughed up a 4-1 lead. And that's big for them, because to blow that lead against Winnipeg, and with knowing that Josh Morrissey, who is, of course, the best defenseman by far for the Jets, left the game early due to injury. If you had given up that lead and lost the game, that would have been tough for Vegas. But equally tough for Winnipeg to lose. They almost stole one without Morrissey, and now they not only lose the game, the comeback falls short, but Josh Morrissey, as announced by Rick Bowness after the game, out for the rest of the series. So just unfortunate news and a big, big blow to the Winnipeg Jets, and worrisome for them, certainly, now down 2-1 and without their best defenseman for the rest of the series. But, Scheifele, Connor, Lowry, they all came to play. It was a good effort from Winnipeg, but not enough as they lose to Vegas yesterday. Toronto. It's funny because the theme coming out of that Toronto win, Alex, yesterday was, for all these years of playoff flops and playoff failures, Toronto would carry the play against the opponent and lose. And finally, the role was reversed. The script was flipped yesterday. They were outplayed for most of that game. Tampa was the better team for most of that game, but Toronto this time found a way to win. What's happened to Toronto so many years in the past finally happened in their favor here, where they were outplayed and they won. So many recent playoff failures for Toronto in years past. They've outplayed the other team in a playoff game and lost. Well, now they know the feeling of, hey, we didn't play our best, but we found a way to win, and that's what the Leafs did. An overtime win against Tampa Bay. Ryan O'Reilly, talk about Mr. Clutch again. Ryan O'Reilly, tying goal in the final minute, and Morgan Riley, a shot off a face-off win, beats Vasilevsky. It was a great shot upstairs, but still short-sided, like my goalie to have that one potentially. And the Leafs end up with the 4-3 win. Out west, we saw, or not out west, I should say, but in the east, Devils and Rangers next up was look, for a 1-1 game, don't be fooled, okay, by that. It was a very entertaining game. There was actually a lot of good chances. The goaltending was great, Shesterkin. And look, even Akira Schmid was great. We got to give even Perlo a little bit of a, pat on the back there because, he was adamant that Schmid was a decent option, and adamant that, New Jersey, he kept going on about how New Jersey played better in front of Schmid, and it actually kind of looked like it. Last night in that game. Just a little bit sturdier in their own end. Rangers missed a ton of chances, though. It's just the puck wasn't going to go in for them. And Dougie Hamilton with a wonderful snipe in overtime to beat Shesterkin. Perfect shot. And the Devils are back in the series. And I kind of had that gut feel that the Devils were going to show up last night. And sure enough, they did. Better on the road, looked more relaxed, looked more poised. It's definitely the best Jack Hughes has looked in this series. And they get a 2-1 win against the Rangers. And then at night, great start for Seattle, but boy, it quickly fell apart for them. 2-1. What a goal by McKinnon to make it 2-1 Colorado. And then, of course, we saw Seattle down 3-1, battle back with a couple of quick goals, including this Jamie Oleksiak goal. If you didn't see it, you would have sworn this guy's like Bobby Orr, or Paul Coffey, or Cale Makar. I mean, with the way he scored. I mean, it was ridiculous. Dipsy do dangling with the skate, great edge work, and then bam, roof job on the back end. Jamie Oleksiak did that. And of course, he's not known for that kind of play from the back end. But what a great goal. But that was about it for Seattle. Colorado just put their foot down in the third period. McKinnon was a beast. Rantanen had a great game. And they just took over in the third period, and they grab a 2-1 series lead. And you wonder, does Seattle have that pushback in them? Because really, since the third period of Game 2, that's starting to look like the defending Stanley Cup champion version of the Colorado Avalanche again. Alex, a hell of a Saturday. What did you think of it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll go in reverse. I'll start with that Colorado-Seattle game because that was a fun game. And it's important, when I talk about betting these first period overs and I say what I like in the full game, there's a reason why I like splitting those two things up and sometimes waiting to grab that live over. Because in that game, I actually thought the pace would slow down in the second period and beyond, and I would have looked for a live under. As soon as I saw how the first two goals went in, I was completely off of that full game total. I'm like, this game's going to go back and forth. But I had no idea we were going to see 10 goals in total. And certainly once you saw Colorado get out to that 2-1 lead after the first period, you're thinking, okay, first home game, in Kraken history, playoff history. And maybe they've taken a little bit of the air out of the building. Then they get up 3-1, and now it seems troublesome. But they were able to fight back and tie the game up. And so kudos to them. They're, like I said, they're making it a series. They're not going to go down without a fight. And you love seeing that from a younger team, especially going up against a defending Cup champion. So that was a great game and a great series to continue to keep watching. The New York-New Jersey series, obviously that crushed me. And taking a ton of looks and different props in that game. If I had stayed away from that game, I would have had a great night. But unfortunately, like Schmid, he played well. I don't think he did anything more or less that Vanacek would have done in the same scenario. Like I said, the biggest difference is that the guys in front of him played better. And I don't understand why they can't bring that same kind of energy when Vanacek's playing, knowing that Vanacek can bail you out and you can feel more comfortable with him if you aren't playing your best in front with Schmid. So maybe that is the case why they play better in front of Kier Schmid. They realize that if we aren't blocking shots and clogging up the middle, this game get out of hand quick and in a hurry. And if you look at the shot maps from Game 3 with the Rangers compared to Games 1 and 2, you will see not many shots from the outside. And that also tells you that they weren't setting up in front of Schmid. They weren't setting up in the middle of the ice. You look at the game maps, Game 1, Game 2, all those Ranger goals right in front, right in the high danger slide area between the circles. You didn't see any of those consistent shots. And I love what the Rangers are doing on the power play. It's like they're listening to the show sometimes, the way that they switched over and put Patrick Kane back at the point, and they have him kitty corner from where Artemi Panarin is, Panarin on the left side. The thing is, they couldn't get a rhythm, and it looked like they were just going around in a circle in the first couple of power plays. They need to figure that out, and like I said, hopefully they keep this setup now, keep this format, keep Kane on the point, because having him slide up and down along the boards is huge, because it basically turns your power play from a box and one, to use a basketball term, all the way to kind of a modified umbrella. That look with those 5 players is very dangerous, and I think Rangers are definitely a team to look for in Game 4. As far as the other 2 games go, just great gritty playoff wins, right? Like that's what you expect to see from a Vegas team, the way that they've played all year, to battle back and be resilient, grab a game in double overtime on the road. And like I said, that atmosphere was rocking and rolling. But like I mentioned in the playoff preview, those 2 teams are unfazed by the other team's barn. You're not going to rattle them off. And honestly, I think the winner of that series, unfortunately, is probably going to lose in the next round because they're beating the crap out of each other. But the biggest thing to look at with those 2 teams is that, the way that they're built and the way that their barns are during the playoffs, they won't be fazed by anybody. So I really give them 2 of the highest marks in, with home ice advantage in the Western Conference right now, compared to, Edmonton and LA is kind of a wash. Dallas and Minnesota have their edges, but they're slight. Seattle, Colorado, not too much of an edge. I think the biggest home ice edge series in the West, maybe if not of all 8 series, it certainly relies with that Vegas and Winnipeg, just off of the fact that they're 2 crazy atmospheres, and that's something to look out for. Whichever team advances that next round, if Edmonton or LA has to go in there, might be some troubles in the road.
Yeah, no doubt. What a day of hockey it was for sure. And by the way, I'm going to send it to you, Alex, after the show, and I'm going to try to post it. I think there's a way I can post this, but I thought the best call of that Winnipeg Vegas tying goal by Adam Lowry was Rick Ball on Turner, and then I heard, and it was a great call, and he's a great play-by-play guy. But then I heard Jarek Rubel.
I heard that,
calling that tying goal by Adam Lowry, and wow.
It was incredible.
We've got a star in the making here with our good friend Jarek, I think, in the play-by-play booth. My goodness, he keeps getting better. I agree with him. He believes in his heart. He's getting better with each more comfortable, more relaxed, and he had a hell of a call. What was the phrase he used? The whiteout has just lost their mind. Oh my God! But talk about just something off the top of your head that's creative, that's unique. I'm sure no one else would have said that line when the goal was scored. So. Yeah, Jarek Rubel, props to him, doing a nice job. USRN, if you're interested. And I know he always posts the link whenever he's doing the play-by-play audios of these playoff games. So great job by him. Like I say, if it's up to me, we're going to get that guy into the show in the NHL at some point. All right, we're going to go to Sunday here in the Game 4 action. We're going to go rapid fire because Alex has a spot coming up bottom of the hour. So we're going to try to blast through these as quickly as possible. Islanders, Hurricanes. Islanders minus 125, home favorites, 5 the total in this game. Look, the home team has won every game in this series. Carolina has not won a road playoff game in 2 seasons, last year and this year combined. What are they now, 0-7? Now in the playoffs, the last 2 years combined, 3 road losses to Boston, 3 road losses to the Rangers last year, and then the 1 road loss in Game 3 the other night where it just fell apart for a game that looked like it was going to go to overtime with 5 minutes to go in the third, and it just crumbled for Carolina in the last few minutes, and a brutal beat if you had the under, which we talked about yesterday. Certainly you would think Carolina wants to play better, but man, these road woes in the playoffs here are concerning. I'm actually back on the Islanders here today at minus 125. I've already got that every home team winning in this series, correct series win order prop going, as does Alex. So we're still hoping for good things with that. I'm also on the draw here. I feel this is definitely going to be much like Game 3 where it's pretty close, pretty tight. And look, we were 5 minutes away from the draw before it exploded for the Islanders. So I'm right back to the draw. In fact, look, maybe I'm recency bias here, to the tits here with this, but after what we saw yesterday, but I am on the draw in all 4 games, honestly, today in the NHL for something. There's going to be some of the draws that I like better than others. This is probably my favorite draw of the entire day, this game right here. I really do think we have legit overtime potential, a close game. I do expect a good pushback from Carolina, but at the end of the day, Ronta was figured out a little bit. The defense broke down in the third period. We've talked about that with Carolina down the stretch. That defense was breaking down a couple of times more than we're accustomed to. And the Islanders certainly had great energy in that game thanks to that UBS crowd. So for me, it'll be a split with Islanders minus 125 in the draw in this one. And at 5, I'm only leaning over when I see a total that low. Alex, Hurricanes, Islanders, Game 4.
At the risk of sounding long-winded sometimes, I give these PSAs out of what to look for with certain betting trends, and it's for a reason, because here we are right now with a draw that you could only find as high as plus 305. I'm seeing a lot of 290, a lot of 295. That's my no-go spot for a draw. I agree. This is a great spot for a draw. You can make a case
310 at FanDuel. Again, FanDuel beating
310 at FanDuel, right? Yeah. So you have to shop around, but my cutoff is anything, nothing below 300, and we're seeing that now because the books are getting caught up to this. Yes, these two teams that only score a handful of goals a game, it seems, and are always going to play tight, close hockey. It's the reason why we're seeing the 5 as well. So shop around. Do not play lower than plus 300. That is my rule of thumb with that. So 310 at FanDuel. I'll mark me down for that. That's the only thing I like here because, like I said, I'm just still rolling with this ticket of home team winning everything, and I don't want to lay $1.25 with that. And nor do I feel like Carolina truly can come back and win this game. So I'm not going to take a hedge spot either. I'm just going to let it ride and hope for a draw.
Yeah, it should be a good one here. Hurricanes and Islanders. And I don't believe, let me just see here. We got Ronta confirmed. It'll be Sorokin for the Islanders. I do like Sorokin saves, though, even though I like the Islanders a little bit. They did give up a lot of shots. Shot volume was pretty good for Carolina in Game 3, even though they lost. And you would think off the loss, it's even better in Game 4. So that Sorokin saves prop does definitely appeal to me. All right, the other afternoon game, also in the East, Game 4, Boston, Florida. Bruins minus 150, road favorites, 6 the total here in this game. This is a tricky one because you always say it's been back and forth. Boston game 1, Florida game 2, Boston game 3. Do we have that zigzag pattern carrying over? I don't think so, quite honestly. I don't think so. I think Boston, maybe got the wake-up call they needed in game 2 to get back to their game. And boy, did they get back to their game. That looked like the Bruins we had seen all season in game 3. And keep in mind, no Bergeron and no Krejci in game 3 either. Bergeron obviously won't be back till game 5 minimum because, as I said the other day, he didn't even travel to the Florida with the team. David Krejci's 50-50 for this game with an upper body injury, so he might be back for this one, and obviously they'll like that. But you got to be impressed that if Krejci doesn't play again, there's Charlie Coyle stepping up for the Bruins, getting a big goal. Taylor Hall steps up. That's all they do. They have everybody step up. That's been the Bruins' MO, all season long when things go well. So, when I look at this matchup here, I just still think Boston's superior. I think the longer this series goes, with all due respect, and where's Florida going to go with their goaltending today too? Because Alex Lyon got replaced by Sergei Bobrovsky, in game 3. Now all of a sudden you got a goaltending conundrum. And I think Paul Maurice has kind of backed himself into a tough spot. He's been rolling with Lyon all this time. And if Lyon goes back in, does he still believe in himself enough to play well? Knowing maybe the confidence is a little bit shaken here. So, that's definitely something you want to look for here. Nate just overshots Matt Allen. I just happened to notice that in the chat. I don't argue with that one bit. I actually like that shot prop. Has gotten to 3 shots in each game in this series, so I agree with that. Yeah, I'm going to go with Boston here, but I'm actually going to go money line. I went -1 in the last game because I felt they were going to win by somewhat of a margin, at least 2 goals, and they did, although they had to hang on for it. 4-0 became 4-2, but I think Florida will push back hard, and I think Boston still will find a way to win this game, but I think this could be close, and this could be a 1-goal victory. So I'm going to lay the juice, which I don't love doing often, but I'm going to go Boston minus 150 and the over again here at 6. I think Florida's going to have to drive the tempo a little bit up. I thought they got stuck in a slog in game 3. They can't win that way. And I think with them down 2-1, they've got to be a little bit more aggressive, and I think they will. It's sort of sounding that way to me if you listen to Barkov and Verhaeghe and Tkachuk and what they said after game 3. So I like the over here at 6, and I like Boston minus 150. And I am on the draw, but this is a draw I'm not too keen on compared to some of the other games today. Alex, Boston, Florida.
Yeah, I don't like this draw enough to bet it, but it definitely feels like it could be a close enough game to where OT makes some sense. The one thing I like here is the first period over. It hasn't really, got kind of snake bit in the last game, but with this one, I want to wait and look in game. I want to see that Florida, and like I said, I want Florida to be carrying the tempo early for me to jump in on that. And I also want to get a plus price. We're seeing, minus 125 to minus 130. So if I get plus 110 or better for the first period over, and I'm seeing the pace that I like, I'll jump in on that. But that's the only thing I'm looking at. I think Boston wins this game, and I don't want to lay 150. And like I said, I don't trust it necessarily to take a side with them in regulation.
Good stuff. And just rapid fire with props because, again, we're on a tight schedule today. We got Pasternak and Marchand. I like them to score. Pasternak's just automatic. Scored again the other day. I think for Florida, though, I might sprinkle on Florida props because this is the game they got to have. 3-1, they're not coming back. They've got to get it today. So I expect Verhaeghe, like he did in game 2, Montour, Tkachuk. Okay, those are the guys you focus on. If Florida's going to win today, those guys make an impact offensively. So those are the props I would target here for the Florida Panthers today. All right, let's turn our attention to the West. You know what? We'll run the ads right after we do all 4 games, both back-to-back. Dallas and Minnesota. We've got Minnesota minus 120, home favorites, 5.5 being the total here in this game. I am on the Stars here, plus 100. That's the really the main bet. Again, the draw a little bit as well, but mostly Dallas here, plus 100. It's their spot to answer. It's the spot for Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, Jason Robertson, these guys that have had great seasons, especially down the stretch. They all played well. All of them invisible in game 3. Let's be honest. You couldn't find any of them on the ice with a telescope, any of these guys. And you got to think they deep down inside, they know it. They stunk the joint up in game 3. It's their opportunity to respond here. And Minnesota, they've been in these spots before, many years in the playoffs. And as great as they were in game 3, up 2-1 and a chance to seize control of a series, and so many times they have not been able to do it. And they're still playing against a very good Dallas Stars team. I also think when you look at it here tonight as well, Jake Ottinger's got to step his game up a little bit too. I thought he was ordinary in Game 3, and we know he can be better than that in net. So I think this is going to 7, at least 6, if not 7. I pretty much said that from the beginning. And I think Dallas evens up the series here, plus 100. I trust in this group to step up after a collective flop in Game 3. What do you think here, Alex? Game 4, Dallas, Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm definitely on Dallas. Like I said, I like this spot going in for quite some time. But I'm also looking at the first period. I'm going to go reverse puck line with Dallas, lane and a half at plus 185. You can find that at BetMGM. I think Dallas had to take the air out of the crowd early in this one, but it's kind of an awkward time start. And there's going to be a lot of people there, a lot of people outside of the building too. They're not doing the same thing like in Winnipeg and some of these other places, but they're doing a little bit of a cookout thing. So there'll be people around. It'll be buzzing. It'll be an electric atmosphere, just like it was for Game 3. But definitely, it's going to be up to Dallas to score early and score often. I think they do that. So give me Dallas on the money line at even money. Also give me Dallas laying the half a goal in the first period at plus 185. That's the best price I found at BetMGM.
Yeah, this is a good game to look. Rope hints for sure. Shots on goal, he had none in the last game. And a goal, Ben Sagan, maybe even Ron. Like, this is a game to get interested and dive into some of those goal props involving Dallas players. I think that is a good way to go here in this one. All right, we're going to go into Edmonton, LA. And then we'll let Alex go because he's got to head on to a VSiN spot in a few minutes. So we'll talk Edmonton, LA, Oilers minus 155, road favorites here, 6.5 being the total in this game. Look, Edmonton, I thought they outplayed LA, carried the play, better chances, more shots, better, really played a solid game, all things considered, the Edmonton Oilers on Friday night, even though they lost Game 3 in overtime. Obviously, they made a big deal of some of the calls that went against them. I agree. There was a couple calls during the game that maybe a whistle that should have been called. And certainly they didn't feel great about the overtime goal for LA by Trevor Moore being allowed to stand because they thought it was hit with the high stick of Velarde. I think they use all that in positive to fuel them tonight to tie this series. I still think it's a great series. It's going to be a long series. And for me, I like the Oilers to respond here. And I got to think, too, deep down inside, I don't want to say conspiracy theory or anything, but I think the Oilers get a couple of calls tonight. 50-50 calls. If there's a hook in the neutral zone that looks like it's a little iffy, looks like it's a little weak, maybe it goes Edmonton's way, that kind of thing here for the Edmonton Oilers tonight. So I think that's definitely something to keep in mind. Yes, it looks like Kevin Fiala for the LA Kings is going to be potentially back tonight. So keep that in mind. But I expect everybody to step up. And look, McDavid and Draisaitl haven't been the issue in this series. They've been solid. Bouchard's been great. They need Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Zach Hyman, and company to get going. It looks like Alex had to run for the VSiN spot, so that's all right. I know we were tight for time there with that, but yeah, he's on the draw in the Kings and Oilers game. I'm on the draw too, but I'm also on Edmonton in multiple ways here. I'm on Edmonton minus a half, plus 160, first period puck line. I love that value. I really think this team's flying in the first 20 minutes tonight. After that defeat against LA the other night, just come out with the right mindset. Peppers Jonas Korpisalo, play in the offensive zone. I think you're going to see all of that from the Oilers here in the first 20 minutes. So I like Edmonton minus a half, plus 160 with that first period puck line. I also like Edmonton here in terms of the minus one. Let me just see. That price can't be right. Minus 138. That looks like it's a stale price at my odds screen here. I don't think it's minus 138 anywhere. Let me just double check that right now. Let me just see here. Yeah, it's minus 155. That's an old number. So yeah, this is just like the Boston game for me, where I'm going to lay the money line price here with Edmonton. Minus 152 is what I got with the Oilers on the money line in this game. I just think this is time for them to respond to 2 series. They've been a phenomenal road team all year. And really, they played a good road game. Jay Woodcroft said it multiple times. The post game during the day off yesterday, he said, I thought we played one hell of a road game. We didn't give them much defensively, and it was a really solid team effort, even though they lost in overtime. So, the fact remains that if Edmonton is somewhat comparable in performance level to that game on Friday night, the result will be different for them. And obviously different in terms of this time they'll get the victory that maybe you could argue they should have had, or at least could have had in Game 3. But again, for Edmonton, stay out of the box. They have had a few too many penalties in this series, and you need something from Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, Yamamoto. These are the guys that have to deliver now. It can't always be Connor and Leon. They're going to do everything they can to carry the offense, but we need Evander Kane to step up, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, Yamamoto, maybe even a little sprinkle of Warren Fogle. That they need some of these guys to step up for them here offensively. Starting tonight, I expect Edmonton to bring it. So I'm on Edmonton -0.5, +160, first period puck line, Edmonton money line, little sprinkle on the draw. A little sprinkle, too, on over 6.5 in this game at even money, simply because I find when Edmonton wins, or if Edmonton's going to win tonight, they're going to have an explosion offensively. And you know how I often say when a team like Edmonton, with the firepower they have, it gets held down to just 2 goals in Game 3, and Korpisalo was phenomenal in that game. He was the main reason why Edmonton only scored 2 in that game, but they had 40 shots on goal. Sometimes when a really good offensive team has 40 shots on goal the previous game, they don't win. They only score 2. You know what happens the next game, and that is the floodgates open. And I'm not going to say they're going to score 7 or 8 tonight, but I could see Edmonton getting 4, maybe even 5 tonight in this game. So that's why I'm going to sprinkle on the over 6.5 as well here at +100 in this game. Someone in the chat saying I had to take the over 5 in Canes Islanders. Yeah, I have to sprinkle on that too. It's just when I see a 5 in a playoff game, or a 5 total in any NHL game, it's very difficult. So yeah, and the second period over for Perlo. Yeah, we'll have to see. But those are good bets, especially if I find that there's a really high scoring first period, or there's nothing in the first, but there's a lot of chances. Sometimes that second period over could be a look. Now, for me, McDavid and Draisaitl props are worth a look tonight. But I think if you're going to see someone else step up for the Oilers tonight, it's Nugent Hopkins, because this is a 100-point player during the regular season who just hasn't been able to fully get it going. And if he does, that's going to really help Edmonton in this series and beyond. Again, we're talking about a guy that had 100 points. He's been kind of quiet so far in this series. Evander Kane has been quiet. So, if you want to buy low on those 2 players in particular, the Kane props, the goal prop on Kane's down in the +200 range, and he's only -124 to get a point. They have definitely made a small adjustment here with the prop prices for both Kane and for Nugent Hopkins. Although I think Nugent Hopkins, his point prop's still pretty pricey, but the goal prop has gone all the way up to +230. So there's been a little bit of a value increase in the props on Kane and Nugent Hopkins, just because of the fact that the Oilers have kind of struggled here, or those Oilers in particular have struggled offensively here through the first 3 games of this series. Yeah, blocked shots, Noah. You know what the problem with the blocked shots market is? A lot of them are big, high juice. The ones that you really want to bet: Alec Martinez, Jacob Slavin. Some of these defensemen, they're -180 in some books. So that's why I've pumped the brakes on recommending them. It's just the juice is pretty hefty with a lot of these blocked shots props. I'd love to bet them, but I just like the price to be better with a lot of them as well. All right, great stuff. Like I say, a little bit of a shorter show today for various reasons, including Alex having to do his radio spot right now. Alex, like I said, is on the draw in this Edmonton-LA game. He also left his best bet in the chat. I will mention that when we get to best bets in just a moment. Hit the like button. 232 live viewers on YouTube. We appreciate it. Shout out to our podcast listeners as well. Yeah, Connor got 2 goals last game, BJ. Connor McDavid hasn't been a problem in this series. He's been fine. Leon Draisaitl's been fine. The problem for Edmonton has been this depth. I've said all year, I thought their depth forwards were showing up all year for them. They looked like they had a lot more offensive punch up and down their lineup. And Kane and Nugent Hopkins and Yamamoto and players like that were a big part of the reason why, but they have not been getting it done so far in this series. That's what's got to change. They need the supporting cast to step up, and we'll see if they can do that for Edmonton here tonight. All right, great stuff. A reminder, check out patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 a month. Goalie charts, totals charts, power ratings, Ice Guys Show betting card daily, and more. Check it out, patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 a month. And also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. Cop yourself some merch. And we want to remind you about the Betcast, our next Stanley Cup Playoffs live Betcast coming your way this Tuesday night, April 25th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Live betting and commentary with me, Alex, and all of our viewers and listeners joining us as guests. Drinking encouraged as always. We strive for a bar and a pub atmosphere with every Betcast. So DM me at Bobano on Twitter or email bobano350@gmail.com to request a spot on the Betcast, and we'll make sure we send you the link for the next Stanley Cup Playoffs Ice Guys live Betcast coming your way on Tuesday night. All right. Let's wrap the show up in just a moment with best bets right after a double dose of our sponsors, Gramco and Manscaped.
Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by Gramco. Whether you or your team's game is on the field, screen, racetrack, court, or the ice, Gramco is for the game. Grown by farmers who spent years developing premium hemp genetics, Gramco provides customers with consistent quality Delta 8 THC products ready for any occasion. Gramco currently offers numerous Delta 8 products, including vape cartridges, disposable vapes, pre-rolls, gummies, wake and bake coffee, and more. Gramco offers an enjoyable, legal high delivered discreetly and directly to you. Gramco is also available at many American retailers as well. You can get the best Delta 8 cannabis products on the market shipped quickly and discreetly from Gramco. And if you visit www.thegramco.com, use promo code ICEGUYS, you will get 20% off of every order, and any order that's on the site over $50 will be shipped free with standard shipping. So live elevated with Gramco and check out their wonderful Delta 8 products today.
Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the promo code ICEGUYS. That's promo code ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, it's about 14 million balls that you can preserve. The Performance Package 4.0 is the complete accessory package to take care of everything that is required. You've got, of course, the Lawnmower 4.0. Takes care of your facial hair and among other things. You've got, of course, the Weed Whacker. I'm approaching 40. Nose hair has become a major issue. It pisses the hell out of me. I need to take care of that shit, and the Weed Whacker can help you do that. Both of these products, waterproof and a 4000K LED spotlight for a more precise shave. And you'll also be able to take care of those delicate areas with the ball toner, with the ball deodorant, keep you smelling good, looking good, and feeling good down in the nether regions. This complete Performance Package 4.0 will take care of everything for you, for all you guys out there, and it's courtesy of our good friends at manscaped.com. So get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use promo code ICEGUYS. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right, it is time for best bets here to wrap it up for this edition of the Ice Guys. Let's start with Alex B. Smith. He left the best bet in the chat before he had to leave. Dallas plus 100 against Minnesota. So Dallas Stars, Dallas, dun, dun, Stars, dun, dun, Dallas, dun, Stars. Dallas, I love doing that. Dallas plus 100 against Minnesota for best bet for Alex here in Game 4, Stars and Wild. My best bet, we're going right back to the game we talked about. Edmonton Oilers minus 152 is the price I got. I'm biting the bullet here and laying the juice. I don't want to worry and concern myself with a one-goal win with the -1, even though it's good value, or the puck line. I'm just going to go money line. I think Edmonton wins this game. I think certainly after what we saw in Game 3, they're going to be fueled by the fact that they know they could have won that game and played a good enough game to win. They felt a couple calls went against them. it'll get them amped up to play at a very high level tonight. A great response from the Oilers, who have had a great road record all year as well. Keep that in mind. And again, played well enough to win the other night. You can't say, oh, the Oilers lost because they didn't play well. No, they played very well, but so did Korpisalo, unfortunately for them, and the puck just didn't go in for them with a lot of the chances they had. So Edmonton bounces back. I said all along, this is going to be a long, great series. Oilers and Kings, two excellent hockey teams. So is LA. I mean, I've talked about Edmonton a lot, but LA deserves credit. This is a great hockey team themselves. I think it's going to go 7, just like it did last year. And a big reason why it's going to go 7 is because the Oilers, I think, are going to tie it up tonight at 2 before the scene shifts to Edmonton for Game 5. So Oilers, minus 152 for me for best bet for this Sunday NHL slate. All right, that'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. We appreciate it very much. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. I'm Ian Cameron, and of course, Alex B. Smith with us earlier. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will talk to you again tomorrow on Monday for another edition of the Ice Guys presented by National Hockey Now.